latest in college esports from the students that play.
Go behind the scenes at the schools that game.
The only place where esports are
on campus.
Welcome back to CheckpointXP on campus, your number one resource for collegiate esports in the world beyond. I am your host, Norris Howard, reporting to you one more time from the crib, along with Jacob Brothers, Daniel Agbuya. How you doing, guys?
We are super hyped right now for many, many reasons.
You know what? We're going to get to that in just a second because I know why you're hyped, because we have a special guest in the house, Julian Lugod, a.k.a. Slamtaro, from the UNLV Overwatch team. He's one of the tanks on the team, main tanks on the team. Julian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Let's go running right hard.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you guys are participating in the Overwatch Collegiate Clash, and Utah has been running riot throughout this entire bracket for about 5 weeks, and you guys were the only ones who had won any of the brackets, and you guys finally faced Utah. Utah hadn't lost. You guys were the only other team that had won. It was the bye week from Utah. You guys finally took them down. How do you feel? How does
it feel to beat Jiren?
Like, to our surprise, like, this has been like basically 6 weeks in the making for us. So we're very happy that all our hard work has finally paid off. Because prior to this tournament, Utah has always been one of the best teams in North America. And knowing that basically 6 guys that play Overwatch are able to still be one of the best teams, because there's Maryville, there's Utah, and then there's us. So
and so I want to get a little bit into the strategy and the X's and O's in a minute. And I know I definitely know our galaxy brain on Overwatch, Jacob, can't wait to jump in here and ask you questions. I know
everything. Okay.
He's had notes for you guys for weeks.
Yeah, he's been ready. He has been ready. But the number one thing that I want to ask you guys, or ask you, is that, you know, as you guys played throughout this tournament, this has been one of the premier sort of Overwatch collegiate things going on. How have you guys felt that the experience has been, knowing that you're all apart, you can't necessarily practice in the way that you used to? What has the experience been like, being so separate from one another, but still having to come together and play?
So, for me, we actually don't have as much as Utah, as per usual for UNLV, unfortunately. But it's okay, because for us, we just play from home. We play our game out, we play our heart out, and we're just making sure that all of our players, even though it doesn't feel that special, because usually we would be playing a facility. So we play at a facility across from campus, right by the IKEA, if you're from Vegas. And we usually play there for our tournaments, because some of us, especially for the people that have viewed the match, unfortunately some of the players had to pause because of internet, and there's been a lot of internet outages, but that's okay because they were able to come back. Other than that, it's been really fortunate for us, even though despite a little bit of technical difficulty, that the tournament still ran smoothly and that we were able to still play our games out. Yeah.
And so, Jacob, I want to hand it over to you, because I know you want to ask all of the big brain questions.
UNLV questions.
I know you have UNLV questions. So
he's been wanting to ask these for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Well, before we even get to the final, how nervous were you that you were going to, if you were going to actually play? Because I saw, you in the chat, you were like, I saw the panic in between the lines in the chat. After the disconnect.
Yeah, so for our players, they were like, should we put Julian in if one of our players unfortunately had to DC? Do we put him in? And some of our players were like, I don't even want to play if we have Julian, unfortunately. But it's okay because I'm really glad to be one of the players even considered to play. Considering I don't know if anyone knows this, but if you ever look on any of the heroes that we play in every tournament that we play in. All we play is Doomfist, all we play is Genji, and I would be playing Wrecking Ball. So, again, that boils down to like all the preparation that we put into this tournament, even though we're basically one tricks, and that just goes to show you like how much we were dedicated to our character, but also like it could be very detrimental because like let's say one of our tanks TC or one of our DPS TC, we don't really have the talent and players in Vegas to supplement our team.
Okay, then speaking of other tournaments, how has Collegiate Clash been different than other tournaments that you've been in? Like, has it been easier to navigate, like, the tournament itself, or, like, what's been different?
All I'm saying from the get-go, I love the TOs and staff that are able to keep this tournament together, especially since this tournament had to be broadcasted online. So I'm very happy that even though Collegiate is known to be disorganized and, like, not many teams are, like, professional enough, I'm really happy that this tournament like can showcase the level of talent and the level of professionalism that not only the players but the TOs have for our teams.
It's been a delight to watch too.
Yeah,
yes.
I have a very quick question, a strategy question. Just right quick, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Julian, you got also known as Slamtaro of the UNLV Overwatch team. And you talked about you guys basically being one tricks between Kevin Durant and Wild Wingbat. They've been pretty much lights out all tournament long. Wild Wingbacks played a lot of Reaper as well as Genji, but the Doomfist Genji was absolutely
should have been
bonkers. It was bonkers this week in conjunction with the Wrecking Ball play. Why do you think that was so effective against Utah, who have been far and away the best team in the tournament so far?
I think it just goes down to like their level of play and being able to play the meta comps. So they're at the meta comps right now. It's like Reaper, Mei, Reinhardt, Kree. So right now when they play against us, like anti-dive, so they would play a lot of Torb, and with Torb, unfortunately, he brings out another. His turret is basically a Soldier 76 that he can just put on the ground anywhere across the map with perfect accuracy. And then, if you imagine you're a Doomfist who has like only shotguns for hands, right? You can't sustain the range of going onto the enemy team. He has to go in, and not only that, they also have the Torb armor pack, which basically makes it so that he gets reduced damage whenever he gets hit. And yeah, essentially it's just a counter to Doom, unfortunately. And it's pretty much a crutch in our comp that they play Reaper Torb, because Reaper can just rate the way. He has a telly. He also has self-sustain. So yeah, they can play all these counters, but today, without the Moira in play, it played a huge factor how they weren't able to succeed against our team comp.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about. So let's talk about the final match, because there's some points we need to touch on here. So, how much do you think the hero pool played a factor? Because there was the Moira, there was the Orisa not playing. there were some crucial heroes that were in rotation this week.
So there was a lot of last week before this week. There was a lot of Sigma Orisa being played, and Utah, like, no problem. They just put in, even if to a certain degree they have a lot of players on their team, they could just swap a player in that's probably better at Sigma than the other tanks. I don't really know their game plan, but from what I understand, they can play the double shield and the spam correctly more than our team, because our team after maybe 4 scrims before, because we're in week 6 right now, during that week 6 match, we were just like, let's just play dive because that's what we're good at.
Yeah, so one thing that we've always noticed about UNLV, and one thing that I've said as both a benefit and detriment to the team, is that they're a very aggressive, very momentum-based team. Like, if they push to get the kill, they're like, okay, we're just gonna go. And that's kind of how this finals went, because even that Dorado match should have gone UNLV's way. And so, what do you think made that perfect storm? Was it the hero pool, and then on top of that, was it just everyone was playing out of their mind, on top of just they weren't getting punished for their aggression? What?
Yeah, it really, the hero pool this week, last week, was actually probably what did them in for Utah, I suppose, because I see a lot of Moira being played for for Utah in the past 4 weeks before this match, because they only played like the one week they didn't play is UNLV won. So yeah, it really did boil down to the hero pool is a huge factor that played into our win, because let's be real, Genji and Doomfist will never be banned, unfortunately, because that's how the meta is.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, okay, no problem. But yeah, I basically said that a hero pool played a lot into it, and basically being said is that Moira that Utah plays, that does play a lot into it. Also, from what we've seen in hero pools recently, we're never gonna see Genji banned. We're never gonna see. I mean, Wrecking Ball is pretty strong, and he's banned this week. But that's just because last week they banned Orisa, so you would see a lot of Wrecking Ball being played last week. And yeah, you're never gonna see Genji banned. You're never gonna see Doomfist banned. So those two picks are always secured in for us as like, because we're always trying to play the meta cons, because playing dive, unfortunately, into like Reinhardt, McCree, May is like pretty bad.
Which you guys made it so that Cool ABC wasn't even relying on the May, which was a really good thing for you guys to do.
He actually switched off to Doomfist and switched to
he was Torb most of the time.
Yeah, and Torb as well. So moving forward into really sort of the last quote unquote regular season, if you will, regular bracket before the championship bracket. I want to ask a little bit about UT Dallas. UT Dallas has been really, in my opinion, one of the only other teams besides you guys in Utah that look strong. Everybody else has looked kind of mediocre, inconsistent.
Mississippi's had a rough go too.
Yeah, Mississippi's kind of in there in the mix, but UT Dallas has been able to really make a little bit of noise. Going into this last week, you know, do you guys feel that UT Dallas is a threat, or do you guys feel like it really is just you and Utah?
UT Dallas can be an upset, I think, because I don't know if you guys saw the bracket the week before.
You guys went deep in there with them.
Yeah, I think it was just a lack of practice. Oh, I know why. Because Echo was released, and for us as a team, because the whole community, the whole tier 3 community was also playing this Echo tournament, that could also be a factor as well, because we were trying to find practices and scrims, and we're just look through our Discord and look for a scrim from there. And basically they were like, oh, we have to practice Echo, and we're like, we can't practice Echo because our team has to play with the current bans. It was pretty much a mess at that point, because you had like bans from Owl and then bans from competitive play being played in. So a lot of that did factor into our practice time, and we only have a week to practice. We only have a week to practice these bans. But again, for UT Dallas, they're a really great team, and moving forward, of course, they could be a strong contender, because again, we don't have much information on them, and also that they're able to play whenever a team is not being able to play is actually pretty insane, because we don't have enough time to practice with them.
Yeah, and so unfortunately we gotta wrap this one up.
But I need to ask you one more crucial question. This is a question that we need to ask Norris.
We get one more question. This is my last one.
This is crucial. One player on the UNLV team that you need to like profile for me is Dunmere. Dunmere. That individual, he is so interesting. He's so interesting. And like when he played Wrecking Ball this week, he absolutely dominated. And I felt like Wrecking Ball is just so much more up his alley of like, you can go so far deep as he enjoys to do, but you can also get out easily. While with Ryan, that doesn't usually pan out.
Yeah.
So what do you think about his style?
His style is he's ultra aggressive, and sometimes when it's like a mismatch, obviously he'd be having a little fun in there, and then he would overextend. But yeah, Wrecking Ball versus Reinhardt, you can play much more of the slow kill style that we have. You can put the Doomfist and the Genji, you just roll around getting health packs and then coming back and slamming people. With Reinhardt, you need a coordinated team, and unfortunately with the college team that you have, you won't have much of the resources and the discipline in order to make sure that your Reinhardt stays alive. So yeah, it can definitely boil down to having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But again, Dunmere is a very interesting player in person because he's probably one of the most hardworking people in Tier 3 because he also trials for a lot of teams. But as much to my dismay, being replaced on the team, but it's still fine because I know I can rely on Dunmere to succeed because he does have that prior experience.
Awesome. Well, Slamtaro, congratulations again on you guys winning this week's bracket. We look forward to seeing you guys performing well in the remaining 2 brackets because you guys are already pretty much locked in for that final weekend. So we thank you guys. We thank you for joining the show, and we wish you all luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to have even more coming up on this Checkpoint XP on campus. This is going to be a lot of guests today, so make sure that you're locked in. We'll be right back.
What's up, guys? I'm Diane, and today I would like to talk about Easter eggs in Sims 4. Did you know that if you go on vacation to Granite Falls, not in real life obviously, you will be able to catch some insects such as the dust spirit, which are visually inspired by the ones in the movie Spirited Away. I'm Diane, and that is my Easter egg for y'all.
You got transported through supernovas, the whole map caught on fire, there was roller coasters everywhere, a giant planet came down with a speaker inside of it, there's a 50-foot Travis Scott.
Wait. So you're telling me it was the final scenes of Pacific Rim?
Yes, absolutely. It was. Listen, there was a Travis Scott kaiju in the middle of this game, and this is absolutely amazing. He performed a few of his top songs, like Sicko Mode and Goosebumps and stuff like that. But this performance was really cool. And if you haven't had a chance to watch a video of this, or if you haven't had a chance to check it out in game for yourself, I suggest that you do it because I hate Fortnite. Everybody, I hate Fortnite with every fiber of my being. I do not like this game. I am going to keep this game installed so I can watch this performance multiple times.
Welcome back to Checkpoint XP on campus, your number 1 resource for collegiate esports. Your host, Norris Howard here. We got another special guest on the show, a friend of the show, Adam Antor, head coach of Aquinas College in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. You're a 2-timer now.
I know.
Official friend of the show.
Do I get my name on a plaque somewhere?
Absolutely.
In the studio, or etched into something?
In the studio, we have one of those bricks, like when you donate a bunch of money.
Yes.
We have that
Veterans.
for if you appeared on campus more than once.
Nice.
But we invited Adam to the show because Aquinas has some really cool things going on with their esports program. So Adam, we want you to sort of let us know what's going on with you guys and where they can find all this cool stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, gamers will game no matter what's going on. So we're gaming. Yeah, right now what I'm doing, organizing right now is a solo showdown on Fortnite for high school competitors right now, actually. And it's totally free to all high schoolers. And we partnered with our admissions department at Aquinas to purchase some V-Bucks to give to winners. And it's going to be one every Monday in the month of May. We're going to be doing custom server matches, basically. For anyone who wants to be involved. So we're at 35 signups so far for high schoolers across the country, and I'm aiming for about 50 to 60. They start next week, so it should be a fun first go at it.
Yeah, and the thing is that we know Fortnite skews a little bit younger as a cohort. We know that there's a community that is still voracious for this game, even though a bunch of other games have come out, may have taken some, attention away from it, but it's still a very large, very healthy community. And the fact that you guys are offering V-Bucks, I mean, that might as well just be just drugs. But I think it's really awesome that you guys are doing that and getting high schoolers involved. What led to the decision of the solo showdown, and what led to the decision of doing it now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So us, Aquinas, we kind of decided a couple months ago to add Fortnite to our competitive lineup for next fall. And I'm looking for some top competitors in the near future for next fall as well as the next coming years. So recruiting is kind of the driving force for me. But also, I have a lot of interactions with high school students who are sitting at home right now, and a lot of their high school leagues, if they were in one, have stopped. So a lot of them are kind of sitting around doing a lot of gaming by themselves, but are missing that interaction with other players. So I'm trying to foster a little bit there. We ran a couple Fortnite tournaments in the last couple weeks just for fun with some certain high school groups, and they were really successful. So now I'm kind of making it an official thing and opening it up to more students. I think that's kind of a theme with a lot of our esports competitors in all games, is that they're doing a lot of gaming, but it's not organized and it's kind of on their own. So any time or any way that we can foster some competition, some social interaction, I think is a really big positive for those players.
Yeah, and oh, Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah. So you mentioned this event like that. One. I want to say a silver lining to this whole situation we're in right now is like this has given an opportunity for esports to really kind of put themselves out there. It's like, hey, we had this opportunity to keep us connected, keep us have that competitive drive. Is that the kind of the same view you guys have with this current situation? Like, hey, we're all stuck at home. Let's see what we can do with this. Is that what's kind of going on?
Yeah, there's parts to that. Our program itself kind of shut down officially when we all went to remote campus. Or remote learning. So we kind of stopped competing as a Aquinas program, along with a lot of other schools. And that was for a variety of decisions. We have a couple players who actually don't own PCs at home. So it would be kind of difficult for us to figure that out, especially our Overwatch players. We got a couple console players on our roster. So we kind of shut down official competition, but where the official competition kind of shut down, we tried to do things within our program that was more casual opportunities for players to play together. I've been playing, so I've been meeting every other week with all my players on a little one-on-one basis to talk and catch up, make sure everyone's doing well. And what we've done is that they get to pick the game we play while we do our one-on-one. So for an hour, I play a game that they choose, whether I'm good at it, bad at it, never played it before, and we talk, see how they're doing, see how academics are going, and then just play casually. And that's been really beneficial for our program.
Well, I hope that that's not like that's only a temporary, like once the campus opens again, you guys can rise back from that. I really hope so.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, our players are still playing. They're still playing their games. They're playing together. We're just not doing organized practices at this point. There was a lot of change when it came to going to remote learning, and I think our players needed to every student kind of had to figure what that looked like out before we could dedicate a lot of time into esports. So there were good parts to that, but that's just where we but we'll be back. I mean, I'm already planning for the summer. Yeah. Exams finish next week, and then we're going to start doing practices and preparing for the fall the week after. So this summer is going to be a lot of practicing, a lot of competing. So we're ready to get back at it come August.
Watch out, Utah.
Yeah,
exactly. We're coming for all of them.
I have a quick follow up, because you said something that was very interesting, Adam. It's sort of a twofold question, talking about how certain players they simply don't have the PCs or the resources at home. Could you speak to the importance of what it is to be on campus and have those sort of facilities there and present on the campus, and how that really does enrich the experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I have a couple players. I think I have 3 players in our program of 25 that don't have PCs at home. And then there's another significant chunk that their PCs at home are not really gaming PCs. They, I mean, League of Legends can run on almost anything. So some of my league players don't have the top setups. Overwatch players, a lot of console players. Rocket League, I have a couple console players. So for them, Overwatch specifically, they can't play cross-platform. Rocket League can. So my Overwatch team doesn't even get to practice when they're not on campus. They can't practice together. And what we offer at Aquinas and other varsity programs across the country is this opportunity for every student, no matter what they have at home or their financial situation at home, they have a quality setup to compete on and play with each other. I mean, I could talk for days on how important it is for students to be in a room interacting and their coach being behind them. But just from the fairness perspective when it comes to a gaming setup, it's monumental. And all my kids are still upset that they don't have the 240 hertz monitors right now, and our PCs are nice too. So they've been asking if there's a way that they could rent them over the summer, or if they can sneak in when we open up over the summer. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, that can't be overstated how important giving that opportunity to students is, and having that set up.
Yeah. And so the second sort of follow-up question I have is you're talking about this new sort of coaching method that you've been doing with just playing a game with your players, regardless of what it is, and sort of having these one-on-one, sort of check-in sessions. This is like some Phil Jackson type stuff. This is very off what normal esports coaches would usually do. What is that process? What is that process like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's less about thinking of the strategy or the benefits from that, and it's more about knowing that these students were used to interacting with their professors every day in person. They were used to interacting with their player or their other teammates every day, and now everyone, even if you weren't on an esports team, is now sitting at home. And if you're with your parents, maybe you interact with your parents, but that's not always that exciting. And then I have other students who I have a student on campus still. We have 30 students on campus at Aquinas. One of them is an esports athlete, and they don't see each other ever. I have a couple students who live with a couple friends, but they're not getting social interaction. So my background, I have experience in mental health stuff. I've dealt with anxiety in the past, so I know how important it is to have those human interactions. And that was the whole point in the beginning, was to just get together, play casually, check in, make sure everyone's doing okay. Because sometimes when you plan these one-on-ones and they're 5-minute interactions, you don't really get to talk in depth about what's going on and where they're at. So that was the whole point of them, was just to get some interaction with my players. And I mean, we're all gamers, so why not game while we're doing it? So I don't know about Phil Jackson stuff, but I think it was a really important decision that I made early on in our social distancing that's really paid off. Especially, I mean, another part of it is retention. So the two things that we talk about from a college's perspective is recruiting, which is new students, getting new students in, and then retention is keeping the students we already have. And every university and college is really, really scared right now about retention. Which students are going to come back in the fall after being home with their lovely family for so long, and they're not going to want to leave. So a lot of my efforts have been towards retention in the last month and a half, and that was another significant part of why we did that. Yeah.
So Adam Antor of Aquinas College joined us today on the show. Let's drop the information one more time about the Fortnite event.
Yeah,
for everybody.
Absolutely. If you go onto Twitter and go to at Aquinas Esports, we have all the information there. You can sign up on tournament.com, and it's going to be every Monday night in May at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's free. You can win some V-Bucks.
All right. So Adam, thank you so much again, and you can follow him at Coach Antor, correct?
That is
Coach
correct.
Antor on Twitter. He's always talking, always commenting. He's a great guy. And if you're a high school student, make sure you sign up for this really cool event. As you say, you might be able to play your way into a scholarship. Who knows? But make sure you guys go out and check out that event. Or if you're a parent of a high school student that you know is spending a lot of time playing Fortnite, have them check it out. But that's going to be it for this week of Checkpoint XP on campus. We got a quick video here at the end, and afterwards we will see you guys next week for more Checkpoint XP on campus. See you later.
Take care of yourselves, guys.
V-Bucks.
Hi guys, this is Bryce, one of the members here at Checkpoint XP on campus, usually behind the camera, but today, switching roles just to show you some of my favorite Easter eggs this month. Doom's newest game, Doom Eternal, is filled to the brim with Easter eggs galore. Take a look at the study of Slayer's home base and find the bookshelf on the wall. You'll see references to Duke Nukem, the Fallout series, and my favorite, YouTuber Markiplier's late father, Clifton M. Fishbach. It was an important game to this YouTuber's childhood, and the developers wanted to make it a little bit more special for him. An amazing game, great tribute, and awesome mustache. He really did know how to comb it.
So the first one coming up is a little bit of a rematch from, I believe it was last week or the week before. Getting them a little mixed up there. Everything during the quarantine starting to blur together. But the Atlanta Reign and the Philadelphia Fusion, once again, going to go head-to-head. I believe the Reign took the Fusion to a Game 5 last time. So, Jake, I have to know, do you think that the Fusion are going to be able to stay on top of their game, or do you think that someone might finally get, well, I guess it would be the second win over the Fusion, but might finally put the brakes on them?
Well, I mean, you know, you have to look at this match going in and just predict Philly to win just because they are the top team in the region right now, arguably the top team in the entire league right now. So I wouldn't predict anybody over them. But, you know, Reign have shown time and time again that they have the mental fortitude to focus on themselves, focus on their own gameplay, and not let their opponent's strength get to their head. So.
But yeah, thank you for checking out where I've been spending most of my quarantine in. It's been a great time. Here's where I keep a few of my controllers, my Xbox ones, my various Switch controllers, and y'all know I'm a huge fan of fighting games, so, you know, I try to make sure I keep these well maintained, but I love fighting games. They're a big part of my childhood. I love them to this day. You know, my PS4 collection on my Switch are kind of like my main consoles, along with some various figures. We got some pop figures over here, and also we got some pop figures over there. Actually, I'm not sure if it's going to be showing up on screen because of the lighting here, but you know, I typically don't collect pop figures, but these are all gifts, and I'm never going to say no to a gift, so yeah. Some of the other stuff I like to collect is I like to collect art books for different games. There's some Fire Emblems and Dragon Age, the Metal Gear Solid ones, all the good stuff. It's also got some old school games over here from my PS2 collection. And further down here, yeah, stuff from, well, you know, I grew up an anime fan and I still am to this day. Now, I've had the pleasure to go to a lot of conventions as a member of the press. Some out of state, a lot of them here in Vegas. But probably the one I'm most proud of are these ones over here. For the last 5 years, I've got to go to EVO as a member of the media. Thank you guys so much. I got to meet a lot of people, make some great connections. So, no room tour would be complete without a look at everyone's gamer station. Yeah, I do the dual screen thing, but let's take a closer look, shall we? Here's my desk over here. We got some little small figures on there. I'm a huge fan of the Terminator series. It's one of my favorite, Terminator 2 is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I have a light up there. Yep. Some more figures. I made Blanca in Street Fighter 5, and I am not ashamed to say so. It is what it is. Oh, one thing I want to do show off is check out this Switch over here. I have a special dock. I got it for Christmas. It's one of those light up docks. It changes colors. I thought it was really cool looking. So yeah, that's pretty much where I've been hanging out during this quarantine. But thank you guys so much for watching the show. We hope and yet we demand that we see you guys on the next episode of Checkpoint XP on campus. But as always, take care of yourselves, guys, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everybody.